Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Four Guys with Quitters. Today, we do have a very special
what's going on, everybody?
guest.
Welcome
to another episode of Four Guys with Quitters.
I hear
Today,
a loop
we do have
back.
a very
Hey, what's going on,
special
everybody?
guest.
Welcome
to another episode of Four Guys with Quitters.
I hear
Today,
a loop
we do have
back.
a very
Hey, what's
special
going on, everybody?
guest.
Is it gone?
Welcome
to another episode of Four Guys
is it
with
good?
Quitters.
I hear
Today,
a
we
loop
do have a
back.
very
Hey, what's going on,
special
everybody?
Is it
guest.
gone?
Welcome
I think
to another
Clown's
episode.
accidentally
I hear
muted
a
himself
loop back.
when
Hey,
he
what's going
was
on,
trying to
everybody?
climb
Welcome
the
to
I think
another
Clown's
episode.
accidentally
I hear
muted
a
himself
loop back.
when
Hey,
he
what's
was
going on,
trying to
everybody?
climb
Welcome
the
to
I think
another
Clown's
episode.
accidentally
I hear
muted
a
himself
loop back.
when he
Hey, what's
was
going on,
trying to
everybody?
climb
Welcome to
I think
another
awkward but also
episode.
very
I hear
awesome
a
at the
loop
same
back.
time
Hey,
when he
what's going
was
on,
trying
everybody?
to climb
Welcome
I
to
think
another
awkward but also
episode.
very awesome at the same time when he was trying to climb I think awkward but also it is. I know him very well. His name is 3-Bit. You know him on Twitter as the VGHD. Also, he has a YouTube channel, Video Games HD, and it is awesome to have you here today. What's up, 3-Bit? Hey guys, everything's going good right now. We could talk about some of the FPS boosting finally, and that was cool.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I'm ready to talk about some of this stuff. We got some good topics today. For those who don't know, I'm one of the panelists for Xbox Ultimate and Mr. Boom's show, and I make my own content. So I've always watched Four Guys and always want to be on the show. So here I am, and it's good to see everybody on the panel and good to see everyone in chat. So hey guys.
Awesome. Can we hear you now, clowns?
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
so much for helping me out, Mav. That was really
problem.
appreciated. So apparently I was in a party chat with Flamish and I forgot to leave it before starting the show. So you all heard a loop feedback because Flamish was listening, and I think that's my fault because I forgot to figure out how to cut off his feedback into the voice meter potato that I'm using. So everybody got to hear everybody like 10,000 times. So thank you for sticking around for that. You guys are amazing. And Matt, thanks for that intro. Really appreciate it. And as Matt already introduced, we do have a very special guest, 3-Bit. And then also a regular panel that has been here almost every week. We have Mama Rocks.
Hello.
And she's been...
Yeah, go on.
Sorry. I was going to say, you've been getting your golf game on.
I have been getting my golf game on. I'm practicing. I'm loving it. And I never thought I'd be saying that. Every night I'm playing golf. Great.
Which golf? Is this PGA or is this
it's
golf?
PGA, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, not golf with friends.
We got true golf.
Oh, golf with friends takes a lot of skill. It's a whole different ball game when you start hitting pine cones around on the field that Flamish taught us about. But Midway, hailing from Chicago, the Hulk of Chicago, the Hulk of PGA, he's out there busting clubs and stuff, and he's getting those under pars. What are you, like, negative 18 on the tournament?
Jeez, no. Best was minus 16. Somebody else on the golf club it has a minus 17, so I'm still someone to catch up to. So it's a frozen wasteland over here. Walkways have like walls that are like 1.5 feet, 2 feet high, which is after the last couple seasons, it's been an interesting look. But yeah, I mean, golf is fun. Got my first golden ferret. 87 yarder out of the bunker, so that is an achievement that will pop. So if anybody's playing golf, always try to get it in from the bunker. Glad to be here on this new night. Thanks for everyone being flexible in their schedule to keep little old me on. Everyone, 3-Bit, met you on Fun Speculations podcast. Forgive the name, I totally forgot. But thank you, Xbox Ultimate. Yes.
Yep.
There's your one shout out there, Xbox Ultimate. So yeah, glad everyone can make it to the show. Got regulars in the chat. Tweet it out, share it out. we'll have a good time. Let's get into these topics.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we also have the man, the myth, the legend from the Xbox Ultimate Podcast, the main guy himself, and Caitlin, of course, is the also important host there. Mav, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for letting me do part of the intro there. That was cool. It's awesome to have 3-Bit here, and also Midway, PK, Mama. It's going to be a fun show. I know you had a long list of fun things to talk about, so I'm super excited.
Yeah, it just, it seemed like this week you just keep adding stuff,
Yeah.
So if we run out of time, that's okay. We got plenty of stuff in between.
Absolutely.
And PK, my friend, what's going on, buddy?
What's happening? What's going on to all my friends, family, and the people in the comments? I'm glad to be here. I'm super excited to get into these topics. Thanks for coming on to our special guest, and thanks for my host, Clowns. You always there to help out a homie whenever I need 10 cents. Thanks, bro. I always need a dime. Let's get it.
Anytime, man. Well, I mean, we do have plenty of topics, actually. There's been a lot of topics this week, but I think, like, the biggest one that everybody was hyped for, because Nintendo hasn't done it in such a long time, is that Nintendo Direct. And
Oh God, yes.
To be honest with you, I'm probably more like Midway here, and I'm like, it's Nintendo, and they do the same things, rehash the same games, say the same stuff over and over again. But there was something that stuck out that I think that, Midway could benefit from and get some skill. It's Mario Golf. So that's what stuck out to me out of the whole show, is Mario Golf. But, man, so many people here that I know that love Nintendo. PK loves his Switch. So, PK, what stuck out to you, man?
Oh, for the direct, that it took them 508 days to have another direct since the last one. So for me, of course, the biggest news was the new Smash reveal. Everybody looks forward to those. It's like looking for a brand new movie trailer you can't wait to see. So yeah, they chose a character from what RPG was that?
I forget. Xeno
Xenoblade 2.
Yeah.
4-year-old game that's still at full price for some odd reason. So that's going to be exciting. It's like a character, 2 characters in one. So it's going to change how that play style works. I'm not even sure, but it looks pretty cool. Flashy little attacks and everything. The other thing I was looking at was Fall Guys is coming to Switch, and hopefully it's multiplat. Because I already own it on Steam. I would be happy that it's multiplat so I could play with everyone on across all platforms, right? Definitely, I looked at the Samurai Warriors. I am a big Dynasty Warriors fan, so of course that sticks out to me. I know you guys are like, Dynasty Warriors, but I'm telling you now, it's pretty dope. The Samurai Warriors always have a good story. I just wish they would bring back the same thing they did on 360 with Samurai Dynasty Warriors Extreme, where it was online co-op and you just had these superpowers going Dragon Ball style Super Saiyan. Hopefully one day they'll bring that stuff back. They did show us which I was excited to see, is Skyward Sword getting a little bit of a boost. A lot of people didn't get a chance to play Skyward Sword. This is your chance. It's a pretty dope game. Very different from all the other Zelda games, though. Zelda always delivers when it comes to quality. And the last thing I would say, for sure, that kind of surprised me was basically the last reveal. And I'm sorry I haven't brain for it, but it was the Inkling in the what was it? What's that called? The Inkling in
Splatoon.
Yeah, Splatoon 3. And I apologize for having a brain fart, but that was a surprise here, because what this is telling me is, especially because this game doesn't come out to next year, they're still supporting the Switch next year. I don't know what that means for this supposed Switch Pro, but it doesn't look like it's coming anytime this year, and maybe even next year.
Well,
But
you
that's
know,
for sure. That's what I got.
yeah, I want to say on that Switch Pro thing, even if it is coming, they're probably not going to tell us on this Nintendo Direct because they still got plenty of Switches to sell and Switch Lights. So they want to sell those probably before they start pushing out any new hardware. And I think, if, COVID did affect any manufacturing, there might be some delays as well on top of that. So I think that's what Nintendo's thinking, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see one sooner than later.
So I'm in agreement with that. It just, to me, it speaks like they're still supporting this hardware. The only letdown, which is what everybody tuned in for this for, is there was no Pokemon news. And this month is Pokemon's 25th anniversary, basically Pokemon's birthday. And there was no Pokemon news. So that's probably the most let down of this Nintendo Direct, is that we didn't get an announcement for whatever new Pokemon they're coming out for in November, and no information on Pokemon Unite, which is their MOBA, that we'll be able to play on Switch and mobile devices, and so forth. Right? That's probably the only big huge letdown from that whole Direct for me.
I think IGN already covered the Pokemon news because of McDonald's scalpers with those cards. So I think that's what it was. I want to go to 3-Bit because he looked a little bit excited on this Nintendo Direct topic. 3-Bit, anything that you thought on this?
I mean, it's cool to see someone like PK who's very excited for it. Because I mean, I don't know too much about let's just say I don't dive into Nintendo news, and when I watched the Direct, I was like, okay, this is the first this is the first Direct I've seen. Okay, I have not seen the other Nintendo Directs, so I was like, okay, I keep seeing people hype it up, so let me check it out. I watched it, and nothing really excited me to like. Like, that's just my honest thing. But what the only thing I would say that where excited me out of the whole Nintendo Direct was probably the Smash Bros news. Like, any new character in Smash Bros is pretty fun. But it's cool to see someone like PK or see what the fans are excited about, to see, because there are really diehard Nintendo fans, and to me, I really care about like graphics, and I care about frame rate and stuff like that, and I guess more third-party games as well. And a lot of what Nintendo seems to offer they don't really focus on that as much. They focus more on like fun, friendly games. They have like, a message that they usually bring with Nintendo. So I don't really I look at Nintendo differently for sure. But it looked like it was like a fun show. I'm not really into a lot of the games, so if any Nintendo fans are out there and they really like some of the news or some of the games coming out, they can send it my way. But as far as like my excitement goes, because this was the first show I watched, it's like non-existent pretty much. But I watched it. It was a fun watch. I watched it with me and my doggy, and it was cool.
What did your dog think?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
What my dog think?
Yeah.
He was looking at the screen during the Splatoon announcement, so maybe he's excited for Splatoon. It looked pretty cool.
Right on.
What do you guys think about it?
Yeah, I thought the Splatoon thing was like, is this like Splatoon Borderlands or something at first? I was like, what is this? It had the Splatoon character, then they get in this bus and go on a little journey in the desert, and then Splatoon 3. Splatoon's a pretty good game. It's pretty fun. It's hard for me to get excited about anything really Nintendo right now until they come out with a device that I actually want to play on. So that's the problem that I kind of have with this. With anything that Nintendo does right now, is just like everything is like dampened a little bit for me, just because I want a regular console that looks good on a big TV, and but they still have good games. The one game that stood out to me that I was actually really excited to see was the Projekt Triangle Strategy, because one of my favorite games of all time is Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh.
And I poured more hours into that than any other like standalone type RPG game back in the day. Like, just obsessed over that game with my friend. We found every secret, played through the story several times. The job system in that game was so deep, and there's a lot of stuff to it. And this game looks like the actual reinvention of Final Fantasy Tactics from what I saw of that trailer. So I am super excited for that. I'm curious more about how the character systems, the job systems, and all of that is going to be in it. And if it's really good, then I will have to get a Switch again just to play that game, because
Forgot about that
I
game.
really care about.
So let me ask you real quick. Has anybody played Secret Mana? Huh?
I did.
Anybody?
Yeah.
You
No.
can't tell me that's not an awesome classic.
Oh yeah, it is. I just like Final Fantasy Tactics better.
Now I own
Secret Mono?
Tactics, but Tactics made me mad too at the same time because they made Cloud weak in that game. But I'm not gonna go too far into that.
Well, Cloud was a secret character in Tactics. You had to actually go about
I know.
find him. So
And find his weapon. Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, as far as like Final Fantasy Tactics, I mean, there was so much to discover, like, and stuff in there. There's a lot of great tactics games, tactics RPGs and stuff, and a lot of spin-offs. Another one was another PlayStation game on the PS. I think it was on the PSP. It's called Jean d'Arc. It was a really great game. But it's a kind of it's a style of game, a genre that is kind of fell by the wayside. You have some franchises like Disgaea and stuff kind of trying to keep it alive and stuff, but this looks like it's going to be a next big entry into that from Square Enix, who is the JRPG guys, right? So excited to play that game for sure.
I have to strongly disagree with you, sir, because Fire Emblem is looking at you, and if you have not played
Fire Emblem's great, but there's in the new Fire Emblem, there's too much school stuff and like other stuff to do that's not actually going out and fighting. It's like the same problem I have with Persona. I don't want to spend 20 hours in school before I can go have a 5-minute fight, right? Like,
Well,
I'm just saying, like.
I think your perception is a little skewed, brother.
No,
I
I love Fire Emblem, bro. I get all the Fire Emblem games. I love it, but this last one I wasn't as big on. I didn't like the last Fire Emblem game as much as I did the ones before it. But my vision, I haven't been knocking any other games, so I don't know what you mean by saying I'm skewed. I've just been saying that Final Fantasy Tactics is my favorite.
No, that's fine. I was just saying you're saying that there wasn't any, and definitely Fire Emblem Three Houses.
It's fallen by the wayside. It's not as popular as it used to be. There used to be way more franchises doing the tactics RPGs back in the day, back on the PlayStation 1. In that era, there was several tactics games, and it's kind of gone down to where there's a couple franchises now, but I want to see it brought back to the glory of, I think, what the best of the franchises were.
Do you think they're doing that because of the indie scene maybe taking over that genre rather than like, I can't think of a game on the top of my head, but do you think that less developers are trying that because indie developers are sort of jumping into that genre a bit? I guess, Matt.
they're seeing success, games that are successful, right? Like, so if once these publishers see these indie games that are successful, they start to say, okay, let's reinvest in this. Is one of the reasons they're bringing back turn-based RPGs as well, right? It works. Just because you can have fast, fluid animation and combat doesn't mean every game has to have that. You can also have turn-based because it brings a different element, right? It brings something else that people appreciate. And for a while, JRPGs just went away from that, and it takes other people making other games to make them kind of go back to it. It seems like.
The reason why I asked about the Secret of Mana, sorry, clowns, is I didn't know if you guys seen that they're bringing that back on the Switch as well.
Yeah, I don't really know. I was never a big Secret of Mana fan. I mean, I played it back in the day, but I didn't hear about that.
Flamish has a message for both of you in the chat, I think. He said he hates turn-based RPG.
Yeah, well, he's part of the problem because people that grew the younger crowd, right? They like, oh, this feels old. I don't like this. It feels old, right? Like when it's not necessarily about it being. It's a system, right? There's a difference that these strategy games, like tactics games and JRPGs that back in the day turn-based have, where you have to think 3 or 4 steps ahead sometimes. And you can't really do that in a game that has fast and fluid combat. So
he has no business talking about he don't like that when he trying to tell clowns he should play a Souls game, knowing that we don't like Souls games.
Hold on, he has an update for you guys, and I gotta say this because it just cracked me up. He said part of the problem is maybe you guys didn't move on.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I didn't like when Final Fantasy went away from turn-based. I was like, okay, this is not Final Fantasy to me, but it is what it is.
I always think about that, like with nostalgia, like to what level is it where the things I want is outdated? I always think about that, like, oh, I want to see this and this, and then meanwhile, the generation before me, I mean, I know I look young, whatever, but the generation before me playing like Fortnite and I'm not interested in that, but that audience is, right? So
yeah.
I don't know. It's very interesting.
What Flamish needs to do is start from the beginning. He needs to start at the roots. He needs to do Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3. Find some second-handed Super Nintendo, play that, listen to the music, just watch how it works, and you'll start to evolve with the times. And the only difference between turn-based now and then is obviously the graphics. So, I mean, there's no problem with turn-based. It's just your perception.
I mean,
Yeah.
Dragon Quest 11 is successful in its turn-based, and it's freaking amazing. So
yeah, 100%.
I quite like Dragon Quest. I've been playing that recently because it's on Game Pass.
But I would just say that I don't know about nostalgia. I pick because we talked about Nintendo and I said Pokemon, right? Pokemon has the same battle system since the very beginning, 25 years. But I am ready to see a Pokken-like battle system. I want to see Pokemon evolve into that right now.
I wanna go to Mama real quick though, because she hasn't really said much on this Nintendo Direct stuff. Mama, are you a fan of Nintendo? Do you get obsessed and sleep with a Mario or Yoshi stuffed animal like hanging around?
Well, I can confirm I do not sleep with a Mario. But
Luigi.
I don't have a Switch or anything like that at the moment. But I do want one because I like the sound of the Mario Golf. I've always wanted the Switch. I've just never got around to getting one. But yeah, I don't have one at the moment. So I'm kind of sitting here listening to what you've got to say about it. But yeah, I like Mario and games like that. My son has a Switch Lite, so he's always playing Animal Crossing, stuff like that.
it's time to steal it from him so you can play some.
Yeah,
Mario
maybe
Golf.
I'll buy Mario Golf and just steal it off of him.
Oh wait, Midways. Does that mean you're getting a Switch? You're gonna start playing Mario Golf? You're gonna give up PGA, give up your career, the green jacket, and go straight to Mario?
Hell no.
Oh,
I concede my time to anyone else that wants to talk about this Nintendo Direct.
it's serious time.
Mom Soul's very excited about Samurai Warriors coming to Xbox. And that
yeah,
which is
Ninja-
something I guess
Ninja
we can
Gaiden.
have to take away.
Isn't Ninja Gaiden
Oh
coming?
yeah,
too?
Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, which is pretty awesome. And it has Ninja Gaiden Sigma, which was the PS3 port of Ninja Gaiden originally, is coming to all platforms. Remastered, also Ninja Gaiden 2 and Ninja Gaiden 3. That's pretty exciting to take away also. So yeah, it'll be nice to play those on Xbox.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty
speaking of which, Ninja Gaiden, we actually got a press email. I was gonna see if there was anything in there that was like kind of important. Probably should have had that up. I didn't even think this was Ninja Gaiden was gonna come up. Oh well, I'll find it as we go on. But real quick before we move on from the Nintendo Direct thing, the one thing that I will say that I was disappointed about is that I like Yokai Watch. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Yokai Watch.
Yeah, I bought
And-
those games for my daughter.
And I was really disappointed we didn't see anything for a US release of Yokai Watch because there is like already 2 Japanese versions of Yokai Watch on the Switch that people have translated poorly for emulation. Did my screen mess up when I did that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's get back to normal. Sorry, guys. I was looking at the Ninja Gaiden stuff. So it basically, the press email just says June 10th. A bunch of facts about the games.
I know certain people don't like the Sigma version, right? That's a thing.
Yeah, I think it didn't get great reviews or something when it came out because it was like not necessarily a great port or whatever. I'm not 100% exactly sure what happened there.
Yeah, I gotta look into that.
But this is going to be like a remastered version. I'm sure if there's issues and stuff, hopefully they would have ironed those out right at this point.
Yeah,
as they have to go in and actually, I think, work on the game a little bit to get it working. I don't think this is just a 4K upres,
Yeah. And Pong says Sigma on the Vita was pretty awesome. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I remember they had the first 3 games that came out, and people really loved the original ports for some reason. And Xbox did do sort of an update, kind of, on the Ninja Gaiden that's on Xbox right now, where it's a little bit smoother. So I wonder what they were bringing to this collection. I don't know how many Ninja Gaidens you can play from the original Xbox on the Series consoles, but it's pretty cool. I beat the first one and I was a fan of the combat and how hard it was. I don't really like the Souls games, so that's like the closest I'll get. I think
Ninja Gaiden was really hard, but also it wasn't like ever like it didn't feel like a Souls game where it was just like crushing at times. It always felt like okay, I can do that better. That was my fault or whatever. And sometimes in the Souls games, I think you feel like you're not ready. You know what I mean for that yet. You gotta
mentally get ready,
or you screwed up your character. Different things like that, right? So. Ninja Gaiden was always. I think the first one had like quite a bit of platforming and puzzle solving as well. A little bit, if I'm trying to remember. It's just a great game.
So, Ninja Gaiden as a whole, and like Souls cannot touch Ninja Gaiden when it comes to combat. It's a fast-paced game, learning all the mechanics, all the combos, how uh, each ninja attacks. I mean, you can look at my achievements. I played the crap out of 2, and the only reason I haven't beat it on Master Ninja because my game save got corrupt at the very end of the boss. But
Son of a
point
bitch.
is, I played the living crap out of that game, and playing on the 1X with the new update was amazing. So I'm hoping that they bring that update on for the newer systems as well, so it can also run at not just upres but the higher textures and fidelity, right, as well as 60 frames. But that game is way too fast. Souls is just too slow, and you have to think about other things. As
Yeah.
I I'm not gonna sit here and bash on Souls because I don't like it, but there's just no comparison. Bayonetta, Devil May Cry, Ninja Gaiden, all these fast-paced action games just in a different direction in comparison to those.
Yeah. I think to your point, I think the Souls games are more about timing and stuff, and just learning when to hit a certain button, timing wise, as opposed to like Ninja Gaiden is actually like you got to be quick with the reactions constantly, and it's also a lot of, like you said, a lot of combos and fast combat, learning patterns on bosses and stuff as well. There's a lot of mixture of all of that kind of stuff.
Yep, it's much different world. So, like I said, and to tee up on that, I just hope that they bring the upgrades to the newer consoles like they did for the 1X backwards compat for the original game, right? So that would be awesome to see it at high fidelity and play it at high fidelity. Though I didn't really care for 3, but 1 and 2 was definitely amazing.
So I read through the press releases you guys were talking on this Ninja Gaiden stuff, and I don't know if this was already announced or not. It probably was on some of the bigger sites, but it looks like that they're running a collaboration with Neo 2, and they created the Dragon Ninja skin, which players can use to transform themselves into Ryu Hayabusa. Hopefully I said that right. The protagonist of... Yep, there you go. I knew I said it wrong. Can you say it again?
Hayabusa, I think.
Okay. All right, that sounds a lot better than what I said. So players who own Neo 2, the complete edition on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and Steam, or Neo 2 on PS5 and PS4, can download that costume for use in-game starting February 18th. So
awesome.
It's not like a
Oh, thank
deal,
God.
but it's a small thing.
Thank God.
Midway's
Is that
like,
breaking news?
No, it's not. It's from February 17th. So it's
Right
not
on.
breaking news.
It was yesterday.
Yeah.
It's breaking news then.
So there was some cool takeaways from the this, but like I said, I'm not trying to Nintendo bash or anything, but just like without the console that I want to actually enjoy the stuff on, it just takes away from my excitement to hear any announcements for it. Because I want to play those games. I want to play Splatoon 3. I want to play, definitely want to play that Tactics RPG and everything. It's just like when I think about how the Switch looks on a big screen TV, it just makes me kind of disappointed.
Oh yeah, I agree with you 100%.
You don't like that amazing 720?
No. Nope.
It's 1080 on the big screen.
I mean, is it 900p on the big screen? Most games actually, and it's
Not on Smash. It's 1080 60.
well, it's on, maybe on Smash, but a lot of games are 900 or lower. And if you have like a lot of people have 65-inch plus TVs in their houses now, and if you're playing the Switch on that, it just
It's a stretched out mess.
yeah,
No.
it just doesn't look that great in my
I
opinion.
don't. What games you seen? All the games I played, and I have a lot of them. Look great. Mega
Well,
Man 11, Fire Emblem. I mean, I can go on. They all look great.
yeah,
And only
we
one
have
that's
different
terrible
standards, I
was
guess,
P-
for that. I mean,
PK,
I don't know, man.
PK. You're not on the Switch payroll, are you? A chance.
I, ho- I hope not, because I'm only getting paid peanuts over here.
Here's something that should get Mav excited. I think he's excited over this, right? Because he has an Xbox podcast. So Xbox backwards compatible games are getting a FPS boost. Mav, are you pumped about this?
Absolutely. Right before we were playing, I was checking out Far Cry 4, which was one of the games that got the FPS boost. And that was crazy. Something that Xbox is doing at their level that the devs didn't have to do anything for, to make this game that's older play at a higher frame rate. And it completely changes the way the game feels. It feels fluid. It feels super smooth and nice. It's awesome, you know, and that's an older game now. I think we're going to see this implemented in a lot of games going forward, and I'm hoping what happens from this is actually put some pressure on some of the devs to do it themselves. Because if Xbox is sending them the copy, hey, this is what we did to your game, can you approve it? Right? They start doing this stuff, and they have to go through and check all these things out, and they might start hopefully doing more of the updates to unlock the frame rates on some of these older games and stuff like we've seen from Ubisoft on a few games now. We've seen from EA on some games now where they haven't gotten the full Series XS optimization, but they've had updates to allow the games to run at 60 frames per second, and also sometimes higher textures such as Division 2 and stuff like that. And it completely changes the way these games feel and play and makes them feel new, right? So whereas this is not necessarily to that level, this is still giving you another thing besides the HDR, which they've already done, the auto HDR. Now they're doing the FPS boost, and they're going to keep adding games to it. And they're doing it in a really respectful way to the devs, by actually sending them, getting approval from them, respecting the original developer's vision to make sure they choose the right games, whether it works or not. They're doing rigorous testing to make sure that the game actually performs well with it and it doesn't screw anything up. So there's a lot to this, and it's awesome to see them take this much care where they have a dedicated team just for older games to make this stuff happen. I'm super excited about it. Far Cry 4, you go check it out on this little stream I had. It's just like runs crazy good. It's awesome. So I actually expected some hiccups when I was going to go test it out, because it just seems too good to be true almost, but it wasn't. Like, it actually worked. So we're going to see more games get this, guys, and just they're going to keep it going. It's pretty awesome.
I think it's an exciting feature. I mean, we were all excited when they added backwards compatible games to begin with, and the fact that they can actually boost them now, it makes it even more enjoyable to go back and play them, especially if you're one that really likes, increased frame rates on your game. So I think this will make a big difference for many people with better TVs nowadays. I want to go to you, 3-Bit. What do you think about this?
Well, so Mav knows. This is something I knew about for a bit. I wasn't sure when the information was going to drop. I think that the technology is very impressive. I think essentially what they're doing, and I'm going to go into my nerd talk for a bit, is they're tricking the game to essentially the game is going to be 30 frames, but they're basically tricking it to thinking it's 60 frames. So it doesn't work for every game. And if you guys want to see more of that, just check out the Digital Foundry video that goes more into depth with that. But it's really cool technology, and I think it does bring up the conversation now with all of these developers that want to make more money on remasters and stuff like we just saw, like Ninja Gaiden. It does bring up the conversation if they can just update the frame rates for these games with technology like DLSS, basically kind of using AI to improve a lot of the textures on some of the games without any developer input. It does bring up the conversation of do these developers want Microsoft to do it because they want other people to essentially pay for this stuff. I think that's a very interesting conversation to bring up. Is yes, they can do it, but how many games is it going to come to, and what are sort of the terms? That's something I'm really interested in. If you bring your game onto this service, let's say I have a game and I'm putting it on Xbox, as a part of those terms, as Microsoft, can I do anything I want to that game now that you have given me the right to put it on my store? Can I now update it if I want to, or do I have to go ahead and contact you to do it? I don't know. That's the stuff I'm really interested in hearing. But yeah, I mean, this technology is really cool. It's really interesting. And I'm really excited to see what games they're gonna basically update, because I play old games all the time. I play more old games than new games. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they got.
Wait, so you mean that backwards compatibility works for you? Even all those people on Twitter say no one plays old games?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. And the thing is, like, when you buy like a PlayStation, or you actually look at the numbers for the people who are buying these consoles, buying a PlayStation, buying an Xbox, look at the games they're actually playing, and I guarantee you it's multi-platform games. It's actually like ridiculous, the whole thing where like, oh, I hate old games, oh, I hate I only buy things for exclusives, which is true to an extent, right? But the most played game right now is probably like FIFA or like Madden, right? Or so people really shouldn't judge what game you're playing. Old games are my jam, and I'm constantly playing old games. From like right now I'm playing Sonic Adventure Battle 2, and
Nice.
playing that right now, playing Scott Pilgrim. I'm jumping between games right now. Those are super old games, and I will continue to play them forever. So
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I love playing old games myself, and I go back, and a lot of times what I do is I'll wait for like the sales on the older games, like at GameStop, to buy 4 for like 10 or buy 4 for 20, and I'll just stock up on 360 or PS3 stuff, and then I'll go back and start playing some of the stuff that I missed, that I didn't think was good back then. I even went out and I even got like the Superman game for 360, which a lot of people says is terrible. And I got Green Lantern. Like, I just start stocking up on all these games, man.
yeah, it's new to you.
Yep, absolutely. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Mama, do you have any thoughts? Are you gonna start playing some older titles?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great idea. It like adds to the like replayability of it all. You know, like if you've played them a while ago and now you've got a Series S or a Series X and you want to play it in, you know, with better graphics, it's great. You can go back and play an old game and it'll look much better. Without having like a PC that obviously that looks a lot better than an Xbox sometimes.
Do you have some of these older games like Far Cry 4?
No, I haven't played Far Cry 4. I don't think I've played any of them actually. Is that the zombie one?
No.
Or am I thinking of something else? No.
You think of something else? You might be
Yeah.
thinking of like
Third one's
Dead
great.
Island.
Dead Island, that's the one. Yeah.
You should check
No, I
out
haven't
3.
played Far Cry.
Far Cry 3 is great.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's when they I guess the whole thing of the Far Cry franchise is really good villains. So that's like their thing. So
that started with 3.
Started with
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and I believe 6 is going back to the 3 story.
Oh yeah, I saw the trailer for that.
Yeah.
It's got the guy from Breaking Bad in, right?
El Presidente.
Yeah, he's
The
awesome.
one.
Far Cry's always been a great series. Like one of my favorite games was actually the port from the original Far Cry on the original Xbox. Far Cry Instincts Predator, which was a Crytek, because Crytek made Far Cry. Right, that's why it's called Far Cry. And then Ubisoft ended up just running with it themselves, and Crytek moved on. But yeah, Far Cry 3 is when the villain thing really started, and that villain really became one of the more famous villains in a video game ever. And is Voss is his name.
Yeah.
And since then they've really ran with that villain thing, you know, just like that Ubisoft does. They tend, when something works and they click with something, they tend to like make it part of everything they do from then on, right? So every Far Cry game since then has had a crazy good villain. But
Yeah, I like to give it a go.
yeah, really great franchise.
Yeah, I think I'll just jump in here. I think this could be not just like a bargaining chip, but an olive branch too for like Game Pass. For developers that want to get a game into Game Pass or something like that. Like, hey, we would like your game in Game Pass. We could, you know, up the performance of your game while as I turn 16 for a second. Excuse me. You know, as I think this brings a new revitalization to a lot of older games, obviously. I would love for it to be on the first division. You know, I like that one better than the second one. So, just you know, like I could see them doing a lot more with their first party and exclusive titles. You know, a lot of games because like the Series S, it's using 1S data files, so having, you know, Recore, Sea of Thieves, the other Gears title, Gears Ultimate, you know, getting that the 60 frame treatment would definitely bring some interest and intrigue into these titles. And you know, like I believe that these first games that were done were tests, and they worked. And so I you know, obviously they're older games, but that's what it's technically used for. So perhaps we'll start to see more titles closer to this generation start get the treatment, and a lot of developers when they get into Game Pass, especially maybe we'll see games that are in Game Pass now getting the 60 frame treatment. You know, with the olive branch to those developers. So it's an exciting time, and it's something that it was one of their bullet points that they promised, and they have finally started doing that. So I mean, they're definitely starting to roll out the quote unquote tools of these systems, and it's starting to raise some eyebrows, and definitely looking forward to see what they bring out in the future.
PK, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, so backing up and looking at it, this speaks to the architecture, because this is not there's no changes to the games, right? There's no modification of the code or any of this stuff. This is just the technology that's built into the series consoles, and what we call RDNA 2. This is part of it, right? This is part of the APIs that runs the DirectX Ultimate and the Microsoft Direct Storage and all these different things being able to run, because the technique is basically on a 3D level, right? Is taking the information and spitting it back into the game so fast that it doesn't even realize that it has basically doubled and sometimes quadrupled the frame rate. Though the resolution stays the same, the point here is the performance was basically boosted by hardware alone. And this is what I'm getting at, is that it talks about just just basically points out the fact that the reason why I would say Microsoft took its time with this particular series of consoles is to make sure they had all the bells and whistles before launch. They wanted to make sure that they are able to pass and check all boxes going forward and backwards, so that everyone is happy, right? I mean, the fact that Watchdogs 2 never got a 1x patch, right? And with the boost tested by DF, it doubled the frame rate and it locked at 60 on both consoles. That speaks to the hardware, right? The architecture. The fact that they're able to do this, and this is just the beginning. This is what you guys should be excited for. This is just the beginning. We have not had all of the technology enabled yet.
You know,
There's still more to come. I mean, I don't know if it's last show or the show before, but we spoke about the high fidelity technology coming. We spoke, and that's going to dramatically increase any game that's running ray tracing. Period. The performances gains are going to be 40%. So just think about that. So overall, and I know you guys checked out Nvidia just showing the Fortnite without DLSS on and with DLSS on. They went up to 200 frames per second when they turned it on. This is just Fortnite. Just think about what it would do if we could apply this to all our games, old and new. That's a big deal. And that's what I'm saying. This is just the beginning, guys. And this is from the architecture that's built into this particular console in general. And remember, AMD and Microsoft both partnered to develop this technology.
yeah. And I mean, people also think about games like Control, where they think 4K 30 with ray tracing is all the systems are capable of, because that's what they said, and it's not true. And then you see a game like Metro, where it's going to be 4K 60 with ray tracing. So it's just a lot of what's in the box right now. A lot of developers just need time to figure out a lot of what's inside of the kits. And a lot of this technology that we're talking about right now, while the hardware is amazing and it's going to take time for developers to learn it, it's also their very impressive software that they're figuring out. The software that they're using for backwards compatibility is very much just tricking games to work work properly. Like the original Xbox games and stuff like that. They're basically tricking the Xbox into getting it to work properly as an emulation software. And then with the FPS boost, it's basically tricking it into boosting the frame rate even further because of the information that is being sent forward and backwards. So very cool things coming up in the next few years.
I think this is going to have an impact on sales on older games too. Like once these games get announced, hey, here's the batch of 5 games this week that's coming with the FPS boost. These publishers are probably going to see a little bit of a boost in sales on some of those older titles, and it's with something they had to do absolutely no work for. So you talk about helping with relationships with publishers as well. They should be super happy about this from Xbox's side. And I think it was Midway or PK. I was making the point this could be an entry point for some of those games to be welcomed into Game Pass as well. Because of that, hey, we're gonna give you this boost here. It's gonna give you some sales. So let's get this in Game Pass soon. It's just a lot of interesting things that they could be doing. I'm just glad that Xbox has this dedicated team for all this stuff, right?
Yeah,
just look at Division 2. Look at the revitalization it got when they got that patch.
Oh, dude, it's freaking crazy.
Yeah, once especially with games like that, long engagement games, Imagine Skyrim getting a 60 frame
Oh.
treatment, or
Oh.
Elder Scrolls, or
Well, I said Skyrim earlier, but then I was like, somebody told me, hey, the remaster that they had, the definitive edition or whatever, already
yeah, they
was
did, didn't
60
they?
frames.
okay,
right?
but I don't think it could be on the 1S or the Fat. So it's anybody that had that, especially even the Series S, since it's working on 1S, data
Yeah,
apps. It's gonna make basically anybody with a next gen console or a 1X be extremely happy.
yeah. The Series S is
So
also the X factor, like you said here, like because that's a
this
cheaper
is,
console.
this is probably this. Sorry to cut you off, but this is probably one of the things that, look, if we got two consoles with the same CPU slash API, we're gonna have to make them kind of mirror each other in that aspect. So graphically, like they say it's scalable. 3-bit would know more about that, but I mean, it would it would create more of a bridge, a short bridge between the two consoles, just to have frames. 60 frames to me is the buzz term of this generation already, and to see people's games getting revitalized, that's only a positive.
You know, I want to go to 3-bit on this. I'm gonna go ahead and abruptly change the topic, but if anyone wants to come back to it, feel free to do so. So, I want to know what you think. I'm really curious, 3-bit, because I know that you do different things and behind the scenes on certain things. Now, Google Stadia closed their first-party studios. All of a sudden, blamed that Microsoft bought Bethesda, which cracked me up, for their
Yeah.
reasoning. But now they want to add 100 games this year to their service. Do you see this lasting, or do you think they're just trying to hold on to their investors and be like, look, we got stuff coming?
I'm conflicted on Stadia. Like the decisions they're making, I don't understand. And like even as a developer and an animator, I'm just like, okay, sure, yeah, some of the decisions they're making, I'm not sure. It doesn't make sense to me that 1 minute you are. I think we could start it from here. Xbox was afraid of two companies. It's Google and Amazon, and for a reason. They're afraid of them because of the money, and they always said those are their true competitors. So if we start there as a baseline, I don't think Google knows that yet. I don't think Google is aware of the power that they have in terms of their finances. So I think they need people in charge that is aware of their power. And right now, I think there's very much a studio buyout race right now. Very talented studios are being bought out like that, and just like EA just purchased Codemasters, and it's going to keep happening. And I think when Google saw that Microsoft purchased them for $7.5 billion, Bethesda, they were like, oh, well, I don't think we could compete anymore. And I just feel like it feels like a switch decision because they clearly can still compete. There's still a lot of amazing, talented studios out there. I don't know. It was really weird reading that. I kind of also laughed. I'm just like, what? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, you can still compete. You're not out of the race yet. Interestingly, but they do need to start buying some studios, start getting more into that realm of things, because they are competing against Xcloud now, which wasn't always the case when they first came out. So a lot of different interesting things against Google. So well, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I answered your question, but
You did, yeah. I think I agree with you. I think what they're doing is like a conflicted message. They're saying, "Hey, we got all this money. We're here for the long haul, but Microsoft hurt our feelings by buying Bethesda. We couldn't buy the studio, so we're just going to shut down our first party
Yeah.
studios." It's like, It's like, what are you guys thinking over there? And I mean, Google has enough money to pay off all of Warner Brothers' debt, so if they really wanted to, they could go in there and say, Warner Brothers, how much do you guys want? We got all this cash. We don't have any studios that we purchased yet. But at
Yeah.
the same time, with Google closing the first party studio, kind of glad that they didn't purchase anybody because they might have just shut them down. You know, at this point, they would have been like, guys, sorry, we're closing you, because they, like, the week before this, they were telling their studio that they were doing good, not, you know, all this praise that you saw online. So just
Here's the dangerous thought though. Instead of, because obviously they weren't patient enough to have their own studios create anything, but if they're strictly going third party, they will probably do what PlayStation is doing, but maybe a little worse. They'll just buy the time. They will buy the exclusivity for 6 months to a year, just so they can get those, get people to, if people are impatient, they want that instant gratification, so they may, in that way, may force them into getting more Stadia subs, and that's kind of dangerous in its own right. I mean, hey, we're buying these studios, we're going to get these games for Microsoft's platform, but everything else, I mean, Google. What if Stadia? What if Google buys 1 year exclusivity for Gotham Knights? What if they buy exclusivity for, give me a third party game that's going to be coming out? Insert title here. I mean,
Outriders.
especially there you go. What if they get Outriders for a year? I mean, it's. I think they're gonna. It almost feels like that's what they're just gonna do. They're not patient enough to have a studio, incubate a title and put love into it. They're just gonna go buy it outright for the time and see what happens. I mean, it's a different road, and it's a more, in my opinion, a more dangerous one, because we've seen what time exclusivity can do to a console. So yeah, this is a interesting time for that aspect.
Mav, any thoughts?
It's hard to comment on anything on Stadia because I don't know what the heck they're doing actually. Did Stadia ever actually really achieve anything yet? Personally, I mean, like, I'm not trying to
anything notable.
Like, I don't know anybody like that actually plays on Stadia. I know a lot of gamers, right?
Wait, Dreadpool?
Does Dreadpool use it?
I played it.
So when I say, okay, not played, but play.
Yeah,
I
think
I played one game.
I've never tried it.
He's still on it. Yeah, I think he plays it every now and then.
Trying it out is one thing, but actually like using it frequently is another, right? So I'm just curious how many people out there are actually using this thing on an ongoing basis, because at some point you have to have a user base. I don't know what their user base is currently to where any of this news even matters, right? So I'm
Google
curious,
fans out there.
Yeah, there's going to be, because it is convenient for a lot of people. I understand the benefit of this and the value in it, but it's weird to have this new service that they were so behind in investing in. They had this Google show, and then do all these things and announce all these things, buy some studios and make these investments, and then you have the new with the Google Chromecast that had come out, and then not even have the Stadia app on it, right? And then followed by that, you have, hey, we're gonna not make games anymore. It didn't work out, but hey, we still got 100 games coming to Google Stadia. It's just kind of like, hey, I don't know where they're at. Like you said, Clowns, maybe this is all just to appease the investors currently that they have. I don't know if the user base that they have is increasing or if it's shrinking. If the user base is shrinking, then that's a problem. If the user base is increasing, then there's still hope, right? And if they see that the user base is still actually increasing a little bit, maybe that's why they're doing this, and they're saying, hey, let's get the influx of games and to see what we can do and get the user base growing and more people invested. But I don't know. I think 3-Bit knows something.
What is happening?
I see his ass smiling right there.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, what is happening in chat?
I know, I was just reading that.
I got to see the chat.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Oh, he is knowledgeable and stylish with the beanie. He is, absolutely.
He's got a terrible poker face, though.
Yeah, he does.
I really do. This is why. Okay, I was on Mav's show, and he asked me about, do I know something about what's going to happen for the FPS boost thing, and I couldn't say anything. I had to not, you
were smiling ear to ear,
though. The thing is,
3-Bit,
is I know that you knew, because I knew that this thing was happening, and I know that because of what you do, you had to know it was happening. So I was just screwing with you and trying to make you get awkward and not be able to tell anybody on air.
so here, but just to get back on topic, because I was Stadia, is also seeing what Luna's doing, and the thing is that so when Stadia came out, they obviously were stupid and selling the quote unquote beta, that was quickly turned around because they said they can't call it a beta if you're going to sell it. And then they came out with games that have already been out for a good amount of time. Luna comes out with a very low monthly entry point, and they came out with Valhalla.
Yep.
Before it was released. So, Stadia has to be looking at not just Xbox, not just PlayStation, but Luna, because they're doing the exact same thing when it comes to an online service, and they're probably seeing they probably got some sort of insider seeing these numbers and checking these these stats and everything, and you see, well, okay, they're getting newer games, so we can't wait for these studios to make anything anymore, but we got to get these games in here now. So what's the best way to do it? Buy them out. So how many games does Stadia have in their library right now?
It's a good question.
I don't know. Stadia needs to team up with Sony.
Cyberpunk came out on Stadia, right?
What's that?
Cyberpunk. It came out on Stadia, right?
Did it? I know.
They made a joke. They said our version is the only one that doesn't have frame rate dips or something. They made some type of
because obviously it's PC, so it don't matter. But yeah. So I mean, that's the only way I could see them surviving is just poaching upcoming titles that popular, people titles that are interested by the masses, and right now it's just a wait and see game with them, because they're not dead, they're on life support right now, and from what they're saying, like you said, we still got 100, we're gonna still have 100 titles in Stadia, but I mean, this is probably a last ditch effort.
Yeah, I mean, with Luna, we know they had some deal with Ubisoft, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, Ubisoft Uplay or Ubisoft Plus or whatever it's called now.
You could add it to the Luna subscription or something.
Yeah, we know to some extent. Well, it looks like right now Amazon is definitely trying more than Google. Maybe that's just how it feels, but they're definitely at least publishing their own games. They're putting their games in beta, seeing how the community responds to it, taking it back with what was the game called? New Worlds or something like that. So it really comes down to how serious they are, and do they really want to compete with Microsoft, and also they're kind of competing in the cloud area as well with Xcloud, especially with Stadia, right? So they're kind of competing not only with game studios but also the cloud market, and we know Amazon is very huge with the cloud market. If you look at the numbers they're actually making, because it's not just games, it's also their services for military services, I think, use Amazon Cloud.
AWS, you mean?
Is it AWS? I might be wrong,
Yeah.
but
Amazon Web
it's pretty good.
Services.
Yeah,
Yeah.
AWS is their
Yeah.
cloud.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Amazon also has a lot of history now and success with streaming platforms with Amazon Prime, right? So they already do have a history with this.
Amazon also has a lot to fall back on when it comes to, you know, their marketplace. They have Whole Foods. You know, I mean, remember they were a delivery service first, so I mean they can always fall back on that because that thing is not going away.
Yeah.
Flamish says in the chat that Baldur's Gate 3 was used for Stadia, and that's true. I think they were the only streaming service to get Baldur's Gate.
It starts.
How
So it
huge was
begins.
it though? You know what I mean? I know it was big, but it's not like
It does have a big following. I don't know how many users actually went on Stadia for it versus Steam.
that game's still in preview now, right?
Yep.
So I'm excited for that game, but I'm waiting till the full release comes out. But you can play it on Steam as well, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, it's cool for you to have this streaming exclusive, I guess, in Baldur's Gate 3, but it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna drive the masses there when they can play it on Steam for that type of game. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with it.
I was gonna say that when we're talking about Luna, I find that Amazon service kind of interesting because they, like 3-Bit said, they do have some stuff to fall back on. They have, or Midway said that actually, but they have Twitch as well. So if they're supposed to incorporate Twitch directly into Amazon Luna, so that when you're streaming an Amazon Luna game, you can actually stream it directly to Twitch, which would be interesting because if they ended up making certain Luna games part of your Amazon Prime subscription or Twitch Prime subscription, that would benefit Amazon more than anything else.
I think Luna also has a deal with Fortnite with like certain skins and stuff too.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Every time you log on to the marketplace, Amazon Marketplace, I always see an ad for subscribe with Luna and you'll get these like Amazon or Fortnite skins. So I mean, or something with Fortnite. So I mean, they're still making moves, I mean, it's back to you, clowns.
The other thing I was gonna say, and I'm real quick, I'm just curious, 3-Bit's opinion on this as well. But Facebook has been really quiet, and they're a beast when it comes to making power moves. And we do know that Facebook does have Facebook Gaming right now, Facebook.gg, and they've gotten some pretty big streamers over on there, some big partnerships. And Facebook's been extremely quiet with all their money, and they're just focused on the privacy lawsuits that keep going back and forth. But we have no idea what they're doing in the background with that money. They got Oculus Quest bundled into a Facebook user account now as well. And I can only imagine if Facebook all of a sudden one day just starts pumping out money, buying up studios, and then making it exclusive to Facebook Gaming, because they are selling subscriptions. I think it's in beta for Facebook Gaming as well for some of the Android games right now. But I do hear from people out there that they are actually working on adding AAA titles into their subscription services. So I'm just curious, 3-Bit, do you think that Facebook could end up becoming more of a threat than Google?
I want them to be in terms of like streaming, just because of the power of Twitch and YouTube, and with power comes less features and all of that. So I kind of want them to be. I know they are building I feel like right now they're just building that platform more and more. In terms of how the streaming side of things are going to work. But it really comes down to a lot of money. It comes down to interest, and it's very hard to compete against Twitch. Many have tried, many have failed. I would say the closest right now is YouTube. So if yeah, I mean, I hope so, man. To be honest, just because the features that was in shoot, what was Microsoft's streaming thing?
Mixer.
Yeah, there you go. The features that was in Mixer were very impressive. The streaming technology that was inside of it was awesome, and I know Microsoft decided to keep that technology and not give it to Facebook, even bringing those streamers over to the other to Facebook. They're like, hey, you can go to Facebook. We're canceling Mixer, but you should go to Facebook. And they were like, no. And they went to Twitch, right? They had the option to go to Facebook, maybe for more money. We haven't seen the contracts, but either way, what did they decide to do? They went to Twitch because of the audience over there. So I think right now, if they want to build up further, they have to really build the technology to do so, make it more attractive for people that aren't on Facebook necessarily, because Facebook is sort of that mom thing where you have your family and your mom and, and stuff like that. So if I was Facebook, I would make it sort of like you're on Twitter. You make an account, like a gaming account, and make it more sectioned off for gamers, so that way it'd be more I guess competitive towards Twitch, towards YouTube, if that makes sense. Because right now it's more, I don't know, it's more like an add-on. So I would make it more of a feature, like ingrained within the site, whether that means facebook.com/gaming, which I think they have, but just more ingrained. That's what I would do. So we'll see.
That makes sense, because it does feel like that if Facebook.gg is kind of like an add-on to their actual site instead of integrated. Like, if it was truly integrated, when you go to Facebook.com, then you should see like some type of Netflix style of Facebook game, and I would think on keywords. So I see what you're saying there. Makes sense. Does anybody else on the panel have anything they want to say on this topic?
Yeah. So first, I want to kind of talk about Google and their habits, right? Not necessarily Stadia. Like, I don't want to talk about Google like they're going to go out of business. They're not. Okay, they're one of the 4 big tech companies. They're not going to go anywhere. But Google has a habit of trying things and then dropping them. I mean, Google Plus, Google, whatever their ISP was, they had a good thing going, but they just dropped it.
They dropped Google Fiber?
So I sense that.
Wow, I didn't know that.
This is one of those things, right? They just do something and then they drop it. Not saying that, hey, they're turning in the towel, but think about it. I don't think Microsoft is the reason why they're doing what they're doing. They just, if you can tell their behavior. They had no plans on investing into this platform. They just wanted to be this separate thing that just brings in revenue. That's the way they viewed it. It's a little different for them, and it's kind of hard for me to believe that I believe they're going to continue the same business model until it doesn't bring any more value. I don't see them spending money on paying for exclusivity for time because they need to make the revenue back. Problem is, there's not a lot of companies out there that trust that they can make that kind of money on their platform to justify them making exclusive for that time period. Right? It's all about what am I getting out of this for? It has to be a substantial lot of money, but at the end of the day, I don't think they're going to be willing to pay enough to cover those first 6 months, because I know when it comes to releasing a game, your first 6 months is crucial. That's crucial for your game's success. So I don't see that, right? I look at it differently from Google's point of view, is that I think they look at it like a side project. I mean, look, the same thing that you said, clowns, about integrating Twitch, that's what they were supposed to do with YouTube, right? You see a game on YouTube, you're supposed to be able to click on it and then go right to the game, right? That's what they showed when it first unveiled it. And is that not accurate?
No,
So
that's accurate.
the thing is, when you go back and look at that, it's like, what? They just unleashed Google TV in the last 4 months, right? Why isn't there a Stadia app on there, but there's a Game Pass app? Think about that. You can play Xbox Game Pass straight from Google TV, but you can't play Stadia. Makes no sense. But you think Amazon's making that same mistake? No. The difference between Amazon and Google is once they start investing money, they gonna go hard. Even if they fail a couple times, they going in. That's why they got into prescription drugs and groceries and etc. You never believe you could get these things from Amazon, and I'm just like, that is the true threat because Amazon already snatched the studio up under Microsoft. Remember the guys who created KI on the Xbox One? Oh, Amazon snatched them up, bought them right up under them. It's not it's I would take Amazon more seriously, even though Luna's not in the best situation right now, does not mean that they're not going to keep pushing, right? Amazon did release a free to play game on Steam, their shooter, even though it wasn't that great. But the point is, they at least trying something. When's the last time we seen Google do something of that nature? Is that's what I'm saying as far as that. I don't believe that they're taking it that serious. I think they just treating it like a side project, just like all the other side projects they worked on and just dropped. But definitely, Amazon is definitely a true threat. I do agree um, with 3-bit that Facebook should step up with their streaming. Though I hate Facebook with a passion, but competition creates innovation. That's how we get better products. Is making people compete. Problem was with Facebook is they don't want to let go of your data because they make so much money from advertising. They don't want to separate it. They just force WhatsApp to start sharing your data from WhatsApp to their parent company.
That's
That's
true.
this is why the American this is why they're in trouble of getting of being accused of a monopoly because they don't want to let go of your data. They want to keep selling it over and over and over. That is their problem. Their tunnel vision. They don't see the bigger picture. So that's part of their problem. It's not like they don't have great products. I mean, they got a good VR set. They got, they have platforms and things that they could pivot off of, but they don't because of that simple fact. They don't want to let go of data. And that's one of their main issues, my main issue with them. But as far as Amazon, that's a whole different market right there. Those dudes are coming hard. They are threatening everybody's business model. I don't care who it is. Like I said, who makes the most money and out there selling is those prescription drugs. Well, they're getting into that too. And guess what? Insurance companies are looking at the wall like, I don't know what I'm gonna do because this is an example of what I'm talking about. So far as Stadia, I see third party games for sure, but again, it's kind of like what kind of revenue do these companies see coming from Stadia? What are they getting from this? If it's not a lot of pickup, there's not a lot of value in agreeing to a timed deal, right? Doesn't make sense when you can make more money going multiplat. So I at the end of the day, I see Stadia being what it is until Google decides I'm gonna shut it down. I'm just done with this. This was a cool project, but I'm over it. Um, and then then Amazon's the true threat because they also have the pockets to just start scooping up big studios if they wanted to and big publishers.
Well, with that said, I do want to go on to another topic if nobody else has anything else to say on this.
I mean, come on, PK. What? Ronda Rousey ain't enough to watch streaming on Facebook?
Nah, bro. I'm good. I'm Gucci.
Well, a topic that PK wanted to bring up, and I'll go ahead and interject this here just to kind of break up all the game talk, is the Mortal Kombat trailer. I haven't gotten to see it myself, but I know that there's a lot of people excited about it. So, Mav, right before the show, you watched the trailer. And
Yep.
are you pumped now for Mortal Kombat? Are you gonna go to Ed Boon and say, listen, this is the greatest movie of all time?
I don't know if I'll go that far, but hey, I was already pumped for this movie because I just like all these. I like these ridiculous movies sometimes, you know. Like I even like the Resident Evil movies. I like. I'm excited to watch the Monster Hunter movie. Haven't seen it yet, but even when they're not good, I still enjoy them. Right. So I personally was going to be excited for this either way, but what I just saw has brought my hype to another level. I am pumped. I am excited because holy crap, it looks like they kind of stayed true to what Mortal Kombat is. Didn't try and get ridiculous with it, like we saw in the past with like maybe the Street Fighter movie, you know, and
The Super
some other
Mario Brothers.
the Mario one. Oh my gosh, that one was like, what were they thinking?
Oh,
you know?
Bowser, good old Bowser.
So there's been some pretty bad examples, but I've even those horrible examples, I still enjoyed watching the movies just for what they are. But man, it looks like they really kind of nailed the whole aesthetic, the characters, the costumes. You know, we get a new character here that's pretty interesting. That it seems like the story is going to be based around. I don't know if there's anybody else that can play Scorpion, you know, like it's just like that Scorpion on screen, you know, to me, this whole thing just reeks of awesomeness and I can't wait to see it. We'll see. Hopefully theaters are back and going well by the time this comes out. If not, we're getting, this is one of the HBO Max ones, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Hey, dude. Yeah,
I'm set.
I'm good too, man. So I'm all set. Day one, gonna be checking this out. It's gonna be incredible. Yeah, that trailer was awesome, guys. Make sure if you haven't seen it yet, and if you're even the slightest Mortal Kombat fan, or you just like action movies, check out this trailer because I think you'll be happy with what you see.
I do like Sub-Zero, but I did not see the trailer yet.
The Sub-Zero that they cast is, and the costume and the effects they had in the trailer with him is freaking pretty incredible, dude. Like best I've
It
seen.
almost looks like from the OG movie, almost like his face, like the way his eyes looked and everything.
Yeah.
It looked like it was from the original movie.
Did you guys like the original movie though? Because I did.
The first
I know a
one.
lot of people didn't,
Is it alright?
but I really liked it. I thought it was awesome.
So
I liked all of them.
yeah, so watching the trailer, I saw a lot of similarities to the first one because
Mm-hmm.
Sonya Blade is, following this mythical, tournament, and then but the one thing that I noticed was that they're doing a lot of, it looks like Origin and how certain characters got to be where they were, because I checked the IMDb and if you look, it says I believe, forgive me if I'm wrong, but it's for like Sub-Zero, the actor that's playing Sub-Zero, the name it's like Baylin / Sub-Zero. So I think we're gonna start seeing how they became who they became, which I am definitely interested in. The restricted trailer had an interesting moment with Jax, so get to see like how things are created with him, and then you finally get to see. Please, I'm like drawing a blank here. Who's the British dude with the metal eye?
Kano?
Kano, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you actually, like in the trailer, you actually see him actually use his like beam of light come out of his eyes. So I mean, it's a lot. It's 2021. Obviously, CGI and stuff like that is going to be 10 times better than the original. Definitely curious to see how they do this. I see a lot of origin stories in here, and that's what makes me excited, because you've never really seen in mainstream origins of any of the Mortal Kombat characters. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Mama, any thoughts on this? Have you seen it?
I actually haven't seen the trailer. No, I need to watch it. But it'd be interesting to see which way it goes. You know, like if it'd be like Street Fighter type, or do really well like Sonic. I think Sonic done really well. I really enjoyed Sonic.
Yeah,
I think it's really
movie.
tough when they do like a video game to film. It can either go one or two ways. But if they get it just right,
Especially
Like, I
fighter
think
games.
yeah.
It's so
a
weird
hard one
hearing
to crack.
Sonic next to Mortal Kombat. But I
Right.
You know what's funny though? Like if they do a reimagining of the Street Fighter, they got to keep that Russian fighter. I forgot his name. But they got to keep that scene where the truck is coming at him, and thank you, Zangief. Yeah. Keep the truck going at the camera and just have him just go, quick, change the channel. They got to keep that line in there.
I'm excited.
3-bit, yeah, I was gonna go to you next. I'm gonna go to PK last because I know he's super excited. But any thoughts on this trailer?
They did a great job, like with getting the game material, but also being influenced. It seems like what Matt was saying, like from the older movies at the same time. It's hard to explain. It's like a good mix of both of those. And if you're going to do Mortal Kombat, it needs to be brutal. It needs to like have the fatalities and the crazy blood and all that. And that's definitely where it seems to be going. And it even looks like they took some of the fighting moves from the games where I don't want to spoil for Mama, but like they had a moment in the trailer that was one of my favorites, where Scorpion and Sub-Zero are fighting, and he took his blood, froze it, and made it a knife. And I was just like, yes, I'm in. So I really it's so weird to see this actually, that this is real. I don't know. I never thought that someone would faithfully sort of bring a Mortal Kombat movie and make it like this, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I'm really excited to see it.
I think Scorpion's Get Over Here in the trailer was a little weak, in my opinion, but I hope they
needs to yell a little bit more.
Yeah, and he's definitely a little more bass in his voice, you know. So hopefully that was just a trailer and they fixed that a little bit. But
do you want to audition for the a voiceover for that part midway?
Do it.
Heck yeah, just give me that Pro Tools, man. I got you.
I mean, now on the spot. I think it'd be
He's putting you
right
on the
here,
spot.
right now.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. Get over here.
Yeah, there we go.
Not bad.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. And now I shall retire from acting.
Yeah. Hey, all your voice acting what is it? Management companies out there, agents,
Scouts.
Agents, talent scouts. Listen in.
Wow, Mav, you trying to be my manager?
Hey, 10%.
Do you do birthdays? Birthday parties?
If the price is right.
Good show.
Yeah. Now he's trying to be replace. Was it Drew Carey? Or is it Wayne Brady?
Yeah.
Who's the Price is Right host right now?
No, Drew Carey. You're right.
Drew
You're
Carey,
right.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know PK hasn't given his thoughts yet, but he is super excited about this. I know the excitement's gonna come through, right, PK?
Sometimes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, I get it. So, yeah, man, amazing. I think they did a great job on giving us breadcrumbs into the actual release of the first trailer, right? All of the, steals that they put out there to get people kind of interested, all that good stuff. But I'm gonna be honest, the very first movie was great for its time. Okay, had a good soundtrack. It did get you hype for its time. I think it was a solid movie. How many video game movies can you say that? Right? Obviously, Sonic and Detective Pikachu has been great the last few times, but outside of that, I mean, I just watched Monster Hunter. That wasn't that great. So how many can we say? It hasn't been many, but I tell you, out of anybody's top 10, the very first Mortal Kombat is still on that list. I think that they did a great job, kind of touching on what Midway says. They bring in Origins in here. They're setting up and forecasting for more movies to come after this, right? And they're touching on deeper stories that wasn't told, that people don't know about unless you really paid attention to the stories in the game, right? So I think that's huge. And if you watch the trailer, not only do you see blood and things like that, the fact that it ended with him saying a cuss word is generally saying that they are definitely all in this movie when it comes to giving you the proper content to represent what their vision is for this franchise moving forward, right? I think in general, I want to ask, do you think this is more exciting for 90s kids or anybody beyond the 2000s? Because it hit differently, I feel, for the 90s kids than anybody that's younger than that.
I mean, I think it definitely has a nostalgia for us, and I mean, hey, we're the originals, we're the OGs, right? So I mean, it does hit us differently, but at the same time, I mean, Mortal Kombat 11 is still like one of the better fighting games, and I'm sure it's reached a whole different audience. And I think WB/Midway they saw it. They see a profit to be made here, obviously. So it's definitely it's bringing the two generations together, PK.
Yes, I think that's an excellent touch. And that's why I'm excited, right? I'm excited to enjoy what got us excited back in the day, running to the arcade, playing these games in the arcade, not just on our consoles, and hype for the characters, right? And even eventually seeing the movie, but for the new generation to understand why this franchise has been around so long, right? Because we could talk about the abomination of the American Street Fighter movie, right? But there was no Mortal Kombat that bad. There was none. So that's what I'm getting at. Is this time around? I think they're like, we're all in.
Yeah, it's interesting thinking about video game movies. Like, there has not been a good amount of them. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, there's the Hitman movie. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was
both of those. There's two of them.
Both of those.
I didn't even realize there was one.
You know what though? All these crappy movies I like. I just like watching them just to see like the worlds brought to life in a different way. Even when they're not very good. The Prince of Persia was there, right? Then you had Assassin's Creed also, right?
That wasn't too bad. That was okay.
Speaking of Prince of Persia, The Division is in pre-production according to Jake Gyllenhaal's IMDb.
Oh, nice.
And Jack Black signed up to be Claptrap on Borderlands.
Yep. Now that is going to be amazing.
But what's more sad? Oh, sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I'm waiting on my daughter to come get my dog because he's about to howl at my side.
To say what's more sad is the movies that got announced that we haven't seen. Splinter Cell with Tom Hardy. Where are you?
Wow, forget about that.
Man, these movies that like they kept telling us were going to come, and remember the Halo movie got canceled, and it was going to be a Peter Jackson thing, right? So it's awesome for me to actually see these movies actually come to fruition and actually see them come out, regardless. Like, like if whether they hit it out of the park or not. I know I want them to, but I just like seeing them get made. And the more they get made, we're gonna have some gems in there. This looks like it could be one of the better ones. Yeah, it looks like they're going in the right direction. So Sonic, I think, was great. That they did that in a really good way.
The first movie with the DLC. DLC patch.
Yeah, and hey, they're gonna have they announced the second one
Day one patch
recently.
Yes,
right?
2022.
Yeah, Tails something.
Yeah, Tails is coming.
Yeah, looks good.
And the Knuckles will be somewhere in there. But
I just can't
Well,
wait.
I just
for
know
more.
I just know that Splinter Cell's got to be voiced over by Michael Ironside. I'm sorry, that no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Well, hey, Tom Hardy, like with Michael Ironside's voice, might be a little weird. I don't know.
well, the good thing is if they're producing a movie, maybe Ubisoft will stop disappointing me and bring back Splinter Cell.
I don't
It's
know.
like
Like
when,
I said
it's like
before,
when
they're pimping them out to everything except a game.
it's like when they put Splinter Cell on hold and decided, hey, we're not going to be able to make enough money off of this franchise anymore. They also kind of like put the movie on hold or something. I'm not sure what happened there. I remember there was like a lot of issues with like getting the writer on board and everything, and then they had different writers leave and different writers come on board, and all this kind of stuff happens, behind the scenes. But I remember that Tom Hardy wanted to play the role. He's a badass, and Splinter Cell is badass. So for me, it was like, hey, this is going to be freaking incredible because Splinter Cell is one of my favorite franchises.
Yeah.
I still want it to happen. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, here's a topic that I want to ask 3-Bit. He probably can't say if he knows anything about it.
See if he smiles.
Yeah, I kind of want to know if he knows a little something.
Oh man.
Maybe you don't. Maybe you do. I'm just curious.
Okay.
So Xcloud is coming to the browser.
Mm-hmm.
He's smiling.
Is he smiling? Is he smiling? That's poker
that's a
face.
smile.
Hey, I'm just naturally smiling. Okay. Okay. So what I can say that's like sort of public already, and okay, maybe I should
Be careful,
say
3-Bit, with how
do.
you phrase this.
Okay.
Men in Black are coming into his house right
We
now.
know
Right.
they want to
You.
make like little. You know how like Amazon does the Fire Sticks, and they have the little thing you could plug it into your TV. I think that's going to be the future of Game Pass streaming directly to TVs. Now that none of that's confirmed, I don't know, but I think I've seen like some articles and stuff on that. But
I can see that.
the stuff I know is I work at a production studio, so we work with different companies like Ubisoft and 2K and all these other companies. So I sometimes know things that I don't want to know because I'm such a bad liar. And but I'm fortunate enough. But no, I actually don't know this one. I have no idea. So we'll see.
It's gonna happen.
Sorry, I had to mute my mic there because my dog did howl a couple times. I think my dog's excited and he thinks your poker face is on. He thinks you got.
He's like,
poker
yes.
face. Yeah.
Well, in case everyone missed it, it's confirmed.
Confirmed.
Confirm with a
Confirmed.
smile.
Clip it.
But to 3-Bit's to what he said there, that's true though. There's been articles written up, there's been rumors, there's been mock-ups of these, Game Pass kind of stick like devices, and then there's been mock-ups of them looking almost like a Mi box, like a little square box. So there's been a few of those out there. There's been some rumors, and I think it's been out there for like 2 or 3 years now. Those rumors. And I think, like he said, is that the more that we get into these kind of streaming services, the more we're going to see devices like this, because we see, I hate to say this again, but Google Stadia running on the Google Chrome. We see Amazon Luna running off some of the Fire Stick devices. So it's only natural that Microsoft is eventually going to have their own type of device for the Xcloud browser. And especially if they can play it through a browser, that alleviates a lot of the hardware requirements because most of the backend will be in the cloud. So it's a genius idea, to be honest with you. Mav, I know you had some cautions there for 3-bit. What do you know, Mav?
No, I don't. I only know what 3-bit told me behind the scenes. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know anything. I know nothing. I think it's going to happen. I mean, they've already pretty much said themselves that they're going to make it happen, right? So if they're saying that they're going to make it happen, then I believe them that they're going to make it happen, and it's gonna. I think we're going to see it. I think we're going to have. It's probably going to be browser based, but maybe beyond that, maybe they'll work it out with Apple, and it'll actually be a full on support with Apple. That's what I'm hoping. You know.
I mean, you only see they only have deals with Samsung and then LG in a certain region, correct? I mean, there's so many other TV brands out there with HDMI ports to be dongled, for lack of a better term. So, I could see them having like a little device that they would just plug in and start going to town on gaming and stuff. Just it's all about that latency and internet connection. So we'll see what happens. I could see it more that way than just an app.
Yeah, I think the stick's happening. I think the stick's happening. For as far as phones go, I think it's matter. I think it's going to happen soon. I mean, within probably a month, we're going to have it on Apple.
Ooh, months, huh?
Fashion. Yeah.
Ooh.
That's what they said. That's what Xbox said. They said that they were hoping to have it by like summer or something like that. Like
you hear that, everyone? I
forget who
Mav
said
says
it.
That
one of the
consumers' TVs HDMI's are going to be diddled with dongles.
No, I'm talking about the browser, the browser
okay.
and the Xcloud on Apple. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about the Xcloud browser. Yeah, so you're right. They did say that that's what they've been working on for Apple devices to get around the requirements of per game rating. But also, Mav, what you alluded to in your statement there, we now know that you're a secret agent. No, I'm just kidding. But Samsung and Microsoft have a partnership, right? So there has been rumors in the past already that we're going to see some type of app device of Samsung TVs going forward. I see 3-bit trying to hold his smile down there, so I'm not sure.
I don't know anything.
You're gonna make 3-bit just like shut off his camera.
I don't know anything,
Samsung
guys.
TV?
Don't worry about my. I don't know anything. Don't worry about me. I'm just, I'm here. Okay.
Hey, check him out Friday nights on Ultimate After Hours when we play Halo after the podcast. You get a little bit of drunk bit there. He lets some stuff slip occasionally. No, he doesn't. He's stone face killer. He doesn't let anything.
Some margaritas. And we'll talk.
Well, I'll tell you this, you guys. I'm 5-1 odds. You guys are winning that tournament. I already decided it. I did the statistics. I looked over like everybody in the brackets, and I was like,
Clowns, did you see the our first round matchup is a esports league?
Esports team.
It's an esports league. I don't think we're going to win the first round, man.
We'll not doubt 3-bit. He's going to come through. I got
3-bit's definitely going to carry us. We'll see.
Yeah.
He's like, get behind me.
I'll do it.
I got this.
And Mav, you hide behind trees and you headshot me all day long when I play with you guys.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys got skill. I couldn't even see you when you were headshotting me. I was like, where's he shooting me from? And I did not see you.
I mean, Mav is good, man. It's always me and Mav at battling each other, and so I'm excited for the tournament. I don't know much about the esports team, but it should be fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't worry about them because they're probably, if anything, a current esports team, so they're probably more familiar with like Halo 5. Yeah. I think.
Don't worry about the professionals. Don't worry about the professional people that play for money. Don't worry about them. We're just podcasters over here playing. Yeah, I think I need to worry a little bit about them. They do this for a living. I think.
Hey, you got 100.
I don't know.
Hey, you got 120 frames now. You got this.
I'm playing on. I don't got 120 frames monitor. I need that. I need that.
Oh,
yeah, buy it before the tournament, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
You gotta-
invest.
Yeah.
we'll see.
I also told Xbot that he doesn't even stand a chance against your team. And he's like,
Yeah.
well, I got K Mega. I'm like, well, he's got 3-bit. And then he's like, well, I got so-and-so. I'm like, well, they got Caitlyn.
Oh, Caitlin's just okay.
Go Caitlyn.
Here's an early game plan. Caitlin's just gonna be sticking everybody, and then me and Mav we'll just run in the battlefield and with Pong, and we'll be good.
Yeah, and she's good. She knows
Wanna
where
hear
all the
that battle
stickies
cry.
are on all the maps. She goes straight for them.
Yeah.
Crazy good at sticking people. Yeah.
I don't understand how she does that. But it's a thing.
definitely. I'm watching your bracket closely. 5-1 odds. That's what I'm saying.
I
5
And
to 1.
Newcomb's team is really good too, man. They got Steel Rain on there. He plays with us a lot Friday night, so he's really good too.
Yeah,
And Nuke is no
I'm worried
slouch.
about Steel. I'm worried
Yeah.
about Steel.
So your next Halo night is more of a tryout than actual playing.
Yeah, who's on the four? Is 4 guys with quarters participating?
No, I'm sitting this one out.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was going to be conflicted, if we got matched up against.
I'm
each other.
facing my Boom
Facing
in
Boom.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
Who's on Boom's team?
That's a good question. I actually don't know. I know Bad Bit is there. Zemi.
Oh, that'll be good.
Bad Bit and Zemi. I don't know who
Mag, I think, is no. Yeah, is
Mag's
it Mag?
probably on Noofs.
Mag's on Noofs, but he said that he's facing Boom.
else. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
See,
so it's
even
probably
crazy
Noof versus
Greek
Boom.
dude said everybody should fear 3-bit. So 3-bit, you gotta get your, you gotta work out the day.
No
You gotta
pressure.
be prepared, get your proper rest, drink enough water, all the healthy
man.
stuff, vitamins, whatever you gotta
It's like
do.
Rocky.
The
Yeah.
pressure.
You're
What,
like
what I'm
Rocky
worried
in
about,
this.
though, clowns, is that in round 1 we're going to be playing against 4 3-bits. So we're going to be playing against Team 12-bit.
12-bit.
I don't want to face that.
No, see, here's what I think's gonna happen, right? When you face that professional esports team, they're gonna be like, "Oh crap, this isn't Halo 5. Oh, you mean I can't jump that high? How do I switch
Yeah.
my gun? What's this?" Yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. To be
So
honest,
the
they're-
good question
they're probably-
is like, which Halo are we playing? That
I don't
really
know.
determines a lot.
Yeah.
but see, that's
And
the
if we're
thing.
playing Rocket Race, I'm screwed, guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
lose. It's like Rocket League. I can't
You
do it.
guys are talented in every single one of the older, Halos, the Master Chief thing. I played Halo 2, 1, and 3 with you guys, I think, and I got my ass beat. I'm not good. I'll admit it. I'm not good. You guys are great, but I think that you guys are gonna win. 5-1 odds. Dreadpool, put it out there. Put the spread out all over Florida. Let's do this. Put the spread
Is there
out.
going to be
5-1
action
odds.
going on Twitter? Everybody get in on the action.
I
Make your bets.
can't confirm nor deny these things, these allegations. I have to stay quiet on this. But PK, Mama, did you have anything that you want to add on this Xcloud browser thing?
No, the PK, you can go if you want.
Ladies first.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm not too familiar with it. I don't. Is it a case of you can go onto a browser, check the games that you have, and load them up that way, or?
The xCloud browser is basically going to be like Game Pass Ultimate via the cloud. So whatever's in the Game Pass library. I don't know if they're going to add console streaming to the xCloud browser. I assume they probably will somehow. But I think primarily at first, 3-bit, if you know anything, it's going to be the Game Pass library, I think.
Okay. I think that's a good idea. I have to look into that more. But did you say it's only going to be on Apple?
No, the xCloud browser is going to work on Apple devices. That's how they're getting around the iOS requirements. But it's also going to work on your browser at home.
Oh, it's literally Stadia. Okay, thank you, Drake.
It literally works now on Samsung and Android devices on mobile.
The Xcloud
So you can use it now
browser?
on Android.
Wait, the Xcloud
Oh, okay.
browser? The browse?
No, not the browser, just Xcloud.
Okay, you're about to
It's
have
up.
me searching all the areas
No,
of the
no,
internet to
no.
get like a backdoor access.
No, it doesn't need it because on Android it's already there's already the app, right? So on Apple, the browser is a solution in getting around the fact that Apple won't allow the app in the App Store.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So the hope is, what I hope is that Apple just says, okay, it's going to be on there anyway. We might as well let it be implemented to a better extent to help sell more Apple devices. Because even if Apple has it on the browser through a workaround from Microsoft, then and Android has it implemented more as part of their brand, because they have been promoting it as well. You know, that could cause some potential sales on Apple devices in the future. So I'm hoping that it is enough of a they see it as enough of a value to just let them do the app without trying to cut into their sales through the app, which is why they won't let it.
Something Stadia really missed out on was like previewing a game, like a game trailer, and then going at the end of the trailer, like, oh, you could play this right now, like through the browser.
Yeah,
like we've seen in like the older Stadia reveals, right? Like, why don't we see more of that? Especially since Google owns YouTube, they should really take advantage of what they have, like the cross-platform things they already have. So I don't know. Stadia is making some weird decisions right now.
Well, I don't know if you remember this 3-bit, but when Verizon Fios first came out, they said, oh, with Fios to your home, if you see a dress on a show, you'd be able to click on the advertisement and buy that dress. Verizon never put the effort in to make that happen, but it was supposed to have been there, that on certain shows, if there were certain products or items, you'd be able to click a link and buy them directly from the outlet or through a third-party shopping network, but that never happened, and it was supposed to. So I don't know.
It works on my cable. If I was to get cable through Cincinnati Bill, it's in there. You see advertising, you can point and click at the little button at the top, and you can purchase straight from the commercial, whatever.
Sounds like Ohio is advanced.
Depends on
the
the
first.
So PK, any thoughts on this Xcloud browser?
Yeah, so I would say that the whole reason of going to the browser is because of the Apple policies that they want to do a review of every game, which is unrealistic. And they also want to force in-app purchases, which is also unrealistic. Facebook was the first to go through this scrutiny. They won't allow them to do Facebook gaming streaming on their far as the app. So you can watch videos, but you can't stream. So now they're also going through the browser just like Amazon is. So that's where Microsoft got the idea. And, you know, Apple has their own battles, right? They're still fighting Epic in court over Fortnite because of their 30% tax. Unlike any other processor in the whole world that only does 2.5% at most, Apple does 30%. That's damn near 10 times more than any other payment processor in the world.
So yeah, that would cut into their profits for sure.
But Microsoft has many deals, not just with Samsung, but LG is the official TV for the series consoles, and they announced their partnership in November. So all the C9, C10, all the OLEDs, they're the official TV for the series consoles. So I also see that as a different benefit, right? So like I said, Google TV launched last year as well, in fall, and you can directly install the Game Pass app. The reason why I don't think you can natively on Fire Stick is because Google has Luna, and it's a competitor. But typically, like I said, Google don't see that as a competitor per se. That's why you don't see a Stadia app, but you see a Game Pass app. So I also see for sure more, especially in 2021, now that more features like variable rate shading and uh, FreeSync and things like that becoming more of a standard rather than just a feature that they want you to pay extra money for. I see apps like Game Pass being a part of, just like Disney Plus and anything else, being a part of that kit where those the newer TVs can download that and sync their. You can always already Bluetooth devices and sync them to your TV. So it's not like the next step would be Game Pass, right? For the most popular TVs. Of course, we don't see that on Sony. Maybe not. I don't know. But I know for a fact Samsung and LG is definitely taking part in that class. So I can see that coming forth. Since they both are based on Android anyway, it would make more sense. They do have their own OS overlays for sure, but at the end of the ball game, they're still Android based. So or Linux based, so it's not that heard of. As far as Apple, it's everyone knows that's still a big piece of the pie, even though uh, they're having those legal issues, right? They're trying to cut into profits, and that's why they're fighting with Epic. But at the end of the day, the browser is a workaround. I don't see that being sustainable for a replacement from the app, right? Because the app is a dedicated API that does a lot more things than your browser could do. I think that's just the workaround for now until things change. Because right now, I mean, there's no way to play Game Pass uh, on the Windows Surface, right? So unless they either come up with an app or a direct way to do it, browser is the only other way.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't have a Surface, but I could have sworn
I have
somebody with
one.
this. Okay,
I
so
have one. Yeah.
you can't download or sideload
You
the
you
app.
can you can the Game Pass app is just like the PC one where you can go in, you can see stuff, you can remote install, but you can't play. You can't do any of that stuff. So it's not like the one on your phone. It's just a different function. Like it's just like the one on a PC. So I would think that they would definitely either create functionality out of that app or come up with a different app that allow you to play.
Well, with that said, we did hit the 2 hour mark. So I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming out, everybody on the panel for being here. I don't want, people to feel exhausted, and I feel bad because we actually went over 2 hours, and in Mama's time zone, that's probably
It's
really
1:45 in the morning.
wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it's crazy. It's crazy. Sorry.
Sorry.
It's Midway's fault.
What?
Oh, we're blaming it on Midway. They
We-
changed.
Can we blame
I'm
it on
actually an hour
Texas?
earlier than you guys.
What time is it over there?
Well, it's Chicagoland, so it's actually
7:45.
yep, 7:45.
Oh, okay. It's 8:44 over here. Eastern.
Yeah.
So I'm the earliest.
Not too bad.
Yeah, Mama is already like in the future there.
I
But
am.
3-Bit, I want to thank you for coming out tonight and with all your knowledge and the poker face that you put on the show. That was great. And it seems like our chat loved you. Flamish gave you the smiley face with the hearts when you said you'd be on his show. And Michael
That's
Garvey
hot.
said that he's going to have to move on from Mav to you as a bromance. I don't know what that means. But
It's the
That's
dimples,
hotter.
apparently.
That's fair.
oh,
The chat loves these dimples.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
Hey.
3-Bit, where can we find you, man?
Everyone can follow me on Twitter. It's the VGHD. On YouTube, it's the Video Games HD. Some of my animation work is on my other YouTube, Blackline Media. But you guys can see me podcasting every Thursday on Boom's show, the Xbox Factor podcast, and then every Friday on Xbox Ultimate. So you guys can catch me there Friday at 9 and then Thursday at 12. So yeah. So if you guys want to see more of my stuff, that's where I'm at.
Awesome. And Mama, I know it's 2:15 or whatever by you.
Yeah.
So people are probably just waking up to the beautiful English weather. Where can people find you?
You can find me over on Twitter, that Mama Rocks, and you can also find me over at mulehorngaming.com where I write for them. Yeah. Sorry, I'm tired, yeah.
No, you're
Thank
good.
you, everyone.
All good. Anthem 2.0 will drop one day. It will come out one day.
One day.
The flying in Anthem.
Let's see.
Midway. I'm going to say it. Are you ready for it? The Hulk of Chicago. Midway, where can people find you when you're not out hulking about at the gym or hanging out with camouflage curtains, as everybody seems to like lately? They posted comments about that in the last video. So,
Oh, have they now?
yeah. Where can people find you, man?
These are blacked out camos, so on the other side are blacked out, so I get no sunlight in this room, which I love, just so you know. So, you can find me at Midway8 Monster on Twitter. Shoot me a DM, if you want to become Xbox Live friends. I'm on there at least once a day, so I'll check my messages if you want to start being friends and start gaming, play a little PGA. Yeah, I mean, play a little PGA. Been playing some OG Division. I'll get on Division 2 one of these days, Mav. And what else am I playing? Played a little Hive Busters. That was fun. Finally got that completed all chapters achievement with Lord Cognito. For some reason with us, it didn't pop when we finished it, but then when we got to a certain part, all of a sudden it popped. So I was like, all right, we're done. Yeah, I've been enjoying the snow here and everything, and it was a great show tonight. 3-bit. It was fun having you on. My first time with you was on Xbox Ultimate. The other was it last Friday?
Yeah.
So it's awesome time. PK always informative. Can't wait for next week. Have a good night, everyone.
And PK, where can we find you, man?
Hey, so you guys can find me here with Four Guys in Quarters every week. Also, I'll be on GRG, Gamers Recognize Games, every Friday. And you can find me at Twitter at PKX Live and on my channel at PK Entertainment. I will be getting back with more content soon. Trust me, it's going to be popping and it's going to be hot like normal. Thanks for coming through, guys.
In Mav, the guys team Xbox Ultimate, who I've already declared the winner of the tournament. Where can people find you?
Unnecessary pressure, my friend. Unnecessary pressure.
Oh, it's necessary because it's gonna happen.
We'll see what happens. Hey, fun show. Awesome hanging out with all you guys. It's a great having 3-bit on the show today.
That's fun, man.
Yeah, you can find me playing games tonight. That's what I'll be doing. Also, hey, you'll also see me in the chat over at Original Next Level Gaming Podcast, which starts in 10 minutes. So go check out their channel and make sure you tune in to that. Saturday, I will be on the Indie Gamer podcast. It's going to be awesome. He was gracious enough to invite me there. And as always, Friday nights on Xbox Ultimate Podcast, where you can see our panel talk about Xbox. And this week, we are lucky to have Lord Cognito on the show. So that's Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on the YouTube channel Fun Speculation. You can also find me on Twitter at Fun Speculation. And we also have a new podcast starting up on Sunday. This is going to be the first episode, Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern on Fun Speculation YouTube channel. And that is going to be Fun Pop, where we talk about movies and TV shows and video games and who knows what all we're going to dive into, comics and whatever. It's going to be a blast. That's going to be with 3-Bit here is going to be with us, as well as Psychonauts. Y'all know him in the community. He's an awesome guy as well. So excited to have our first episode on Sunday. I hope everyone has a great day.
That's awesome, man. And you know, when you start talking about the 80s X-Men and Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man and, you know, Spawn, let me know because I'd love to come on. I have over like 14 full boxes in the garage of comics that I've collected since going back as far as like 1960 with Batman. So I'm obsessed with comic books.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, one requirement is that I will make you bring that stuff out and actually show it off.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I better start looking for some of it.
Who wait a minute. Real quick question. Since you guys are supposed to be comic nerds, trying to test your knowledge.
No, I'm not a comic book nerd. I'm in
who
movies.
is the creator of Batman? Who created Batman?
Bob something, right? Am I right? It's Bob something.
It's Bob Kane.
Bob.
Kane. I was close. But Bob Kane.
All about Marvel, PK. All about Marvel.
Yeah.
Red Hood.
No.
Have you forgot my gamer tag picture? I mean,
I
was never into collecting the comics myself. I was always into the movies and the TV shows and the cartoons, and I like to look through the comics, but for the art. But I just never really got into like collecting them or anything.
New 52 Red Hood will be a great movie adaptation. I'm just saying.
More love for 3-Bit in the chat. 3-Bit.
3-Bit, you're on fire.
Did you know 3-Bit's dad
Goodbye.
works for Marvel?
Yes.
What? What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I just had to throw that out there real quick.
Looks like we're getting an interview.
Yeah, we're getting an interview then.
Real quick, 3-Bit. What character? What series?
He was a cleanup artist for Hulk and Thor, and he basically introduced me into loving animation and comics, because growing up he would bring comics back from who's now my boss, which is funny, Paul Jenkins, who wrote the Wolverine Origins, and he would bring comics back from like inking from like Thor and Hulk when I was a kid, and I thought it was really cool, and I was like, hey, people get to create stories, like this is amazing. And it really got me into loving comic books and creating stories and that whole world. So yeah, he was basically a cleanup artist and went to, like, sometimes people would forget to like draw Hulk's finger, believe it or not. He would go in and clean up the finger, or he would sometimes write certain issues and stuff like that.
That's amazing,
so yeah,
man.
Good stuff.
That is really cool. You know, I'm gonna have to DM you and ask you questions now. You know that, right? 80s Hulk, 70s Hulk, 90s Hulk.
It's probably 90s Hulk, I want to say.
Hulk got really cool in the 90s. Yeah.
I want to say 90s Hulk, and I still have some of his like old. I wonder if I could bring that in for Fun Pop. I still have like some of the original comics that he wasn't supposed to like copy from like Todd McFarlane and stuff.
Heck yeah,
whoa! Yes, do it.
I wonder if I still have that. Yeah.
Scandalous.
Yeah.
Well,
Good stuff.
now we all know a little bit more about 3-Bit's history. That's really cool. I'll be DMing him questions off and on throughout the week, probably. So we're Four Guys with Quarters is working on a radio show. Graphic God is doing some stuff in the background. That's gonna be happening on Tuesdays earlier in the day, so that Mama and Animated Evil and all our UK friends don't have to fall asleep at 2:15. It's gonna be really energetic, really cool. We're getting some drops from real people in the radio business. I learned a drop is like, hey, what's up? This is Lemon, and I have this. Yeah, so I can't do it as well, but they can. They're professional, so it's gonna be fun. And this upcoming week on Wednesday, we're interviewing Albion Girl. Her name is Lauren, and she used to work at Lionhead, and she worked on the Fable series and was in marketing and community management. And now she has her own podcast, super cool communication podcast, and her own company helping developers. And she organizes different small gatherings of UK developers from multiple studios in England. And she's also does rock part time, like in a rock band, I believe. So that's
Wow.
gonna be it's gonna be a fun interview. Cool. And all you people in the chat, thank you for coming out. 3-Bit, thank you for coming out. Everybody can find me at Italian Clowns on all social media. And you can find 4GWQ Podcast on Twitter and this YouTube channel. So, again, until next week, see everybody later.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Closing time.